Good evening, folks. This is Jay from Cold Nights, and you have just tuned into the inaugural Cold Nights 2024 Nintendo Switch Awards. Tonight, we have a great group of presenters from the Cold Nights community. We have multiple categories and some wonderful games to cover. So without further ado, let's get to the first award.
Hey there, it's Inferno Fox from the Inferno Fox Gaming channel here on YouTube. The Nintendo Switch is the little engine that could. It was released nearly 7 years ago based on an NVIDIA chipset that's almost 9 years old, yet it's still able to pull off fantastic gaming experiences that aspire greatness despite these years old specs. Sometimes all it takes to think outside of the box and break out of it is to be put into one to begin with. And I can think of no genre for this better than the action genre on the Nintendo Switch. The entries that have been nominated for the best action genre on the Nintendo Switch encompass everything that I've mentioned and then some. Not only do these games run well on this years old system, they do so quite well. Not only that, these entries absolutely have fantastic gameplay loops and look great, especially if they're being played on the OLED model of the Switch. So my nominees for the best action games are Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. This colorful, tune-filled romp is a joy to play, especially for fans of Sega's Jet Set Radio, and those like me who have discovered Sega's properties years after their original releases find these types of games to be so much fun to play. And I can tell a lot of love was given to make this game a suitable spiritual successor of Jet Set Radio. Fun, frenetic action, and great tunes make this a worthy nominee for a Nintendo Switch action game in 2023. The next nominee is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. While this did win the Action Adventure category for Jeff Keighley's 2023 Game Awards, it's no secret as to why. Producer Eiji Aonuma and his team had their work cut out for them to improve upon the masterpiece that was 2017's Breath of the Wild. And I believe their mission was successful too. While Tears has the same world in appearance, it increased its depth fourfold with the addition of the Sky Islands, cave systems in the overworld, and the deep depths underground. Action and ingenuity are increased greatly as well, with the ability to build structures and vehicles thanks to the new powers given to Link. While the battle system has been left largely the same, the addition of allies and epic battles against bosses, especially the final gamut against Ganondorf, make this worthy to wear the crown for best action game. Except that it doesn't. The last nominee and my winner for the best action game for 2023 on the Nintendo Switch goes to Metroid Prime Remastered. And don't let this title fool you, this feels more like a remake than a remaster. The original game released in 2002 on the GameCube and looked absolutely gorgeous. Sported fun exploration and great combat and ran at a buttery smooth 60 frames per second. This new remaster keeps up the high frame rate, ramps up the visual fidelity while also increasing it to widescreen, and even improves upon the original by offering many different controller options. Samus's journey on Talon 4 has never looked, sounded, or played better. I'd argue this is probably the best looking and running video game on the Nintendo Switch, and easily my choice for 2023's best action game on the Nintendo Switch.
Hey there, friends. Some of you may know me, but for those who don't, I'm Brandon from Just the Gems, and I'm honored to be here this evening to present the award for Best Nintendo Switch JRPG. The JRPG genre has grown so much over the past 30 or 40 years, from 8-bit beeps and boops with Dragon Quest to orchestral beeps and boops with Dragon Quest XI's. JRPGs have been beeping and booping for longer than much of its audience has been alive. That's remarkable, isn't it? Pretty soon, the dialogue in role-playing games is going to be completely unrecognizable to old guys like me. The first JRPG character to call something based is coming. It's only a matter of time. The nominees for Best Switch JRPG this year all have a claim to stake for excellence, from Fire Emblem Engage's return to form and Colgate-headed hero, to Super Mario RPG's remade brilliance and HD Geno-ness, all the way to Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeem's legacy-defining conclusion to an epic series. Every one of these games deserves to win, but that's not how winning works, and so only one gets to walk away with the trophy. Still, I think we can agree that with a list of games as strong as these, the Switch is still operating on all cylinders, and it will go down in history as the best JRPG machine Nintendo has made to date. The nominees are Fire Emblem Engage, Super Mario RPG, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed, and the winner of Best Nintendo Switch JRPG is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. This is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed's first nomination and first win. It's also likely to be its last, as it won't qualify for JRPG of the Year next year or any year thereafter. Now, because it's a video game, it can't talk, so it's asked me to say the following on its behalf. I'm feeling full of beans that you all would think so highly of my performance. I want to thank the fans for being so supportive. I also want to thank Takahashi-san for believing in me. Good night.
Hi, I'm Miller, over from Miller's Game Room. Thank you to Jay for inviting me to present the visual novel segment for the Switch Awards 2023. There have been a whole bunch of amazing VNs released on Switch and other platforms this year, so now's the time to showcase 3 of the very best titles. First nomination for my personal pick is Nor 9 Bar Commons. This is an Otome game by Idea Factory and Otomate that got re-released for the Switch this year with a vastly superior translation to the original Vita release. You're on an airship, travelling through time and space, and connecting with the guys as you seek to fulfill your mission as part of the Nor 9. The second nomination is White Album Memories Like Falling Snow. This is the classic 1998 Leaf visual novel, re-released earlier this year. You can re-experience this beloved classic title as you play as Toyo Fuji, who has to decide whether to remain loyal to his girlfriend Yuki Morikawa or find someone else. And the final nominee is Verche Evermore, Era Salvation. This is another Idea Factory Otome game, like with half of the Otome games localized on the Nintendo Switch and basically all of them on the PS Vita, where you play, well, one of the biggest angst and despair-filled adventures known to humankind on the island of Appa Shell. So, with all that said, time to check out the nominations and, oh wait, I've just realised, one of these is actually PC exclusive, so I have to disqualify it. So, I'm sorry White Album, your creators failed to ensure that this game is on all possible platforms, so that nomination's gone. So that means the winner, now I've narrowed it down to 2, is Verche Evermore, Era Salvation. I love the story of this game so much. It's very plot heavy. There's a lot of like brain food, so to speak, so even if you don't normally like deal with Otome game romance, you can still find a lot to enjoy in this world. There's a lot of angst and despair, given the very dark nature of this game. This is very much a dark fantasy title. It's not along the lines of games you'll find on PC, like those get even darker, but this one's a nice balance between the sweet romance of the final salvation end, the despair of the bad endings, which you have to go through them all to get the good ones, so it allows for a very unique route structure, and how it integrates all these unique elements, the unique route structure, the deep lore of Appa Shell, into this beautiful experience that just makes the payoff so worth it. And that's why it wins my Switch Awards of the Year 2023 for visual novels. And thank you so much to Jay for inviting me on again, and I'll pass on to the next category for more amazing winners.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Game Awards.
No, Jeff Keighley. I don't want to be in your shitty award show. No. Oh, where am I? It was just a dream. Thank goodness. You had me announce the nominees for Game of the Year. It was that awful Golem game and that piss poor Skull Island Rise of Kong. Oh, but thankfully I don't have to worry about that. I'm just glad it's a dream. Oh man, could you imagine if that was actually real? Woo! Dodged a bullet there. Wait a second. Where am I? What is this? No!
Award goes
No!
to
No!
Lord of the Rings Golem.
No! It really was a dream. I hope. Oh man. Woo! I have got to stop listening to Jay and ordering 5 servings of Domino's tots. I mean, they're delicious, but woo! Speaking of Jay and shitty award shows, I think it's time to one up to something better.
Welcome to the Match Theater Switch Game Awards 2023.
Welcome to the inaugural Cold Take Switch Awards! Yeah! It's so exciting to be here. I want to thank my buddy Jay of Cold Knights for allowing me to be a part of this amazing celebration. I'm Philip of Phil One Up Collects, and I'm here to represent the best indie games of 2023. Yes, indie titles. Once considered small, insignificant games, now they rival AAA, offering a fantastic, amazing experiences like no other. Shining examples like Hollow Knight, Blasphemous, and Hades. So without further ado, here are the nominees for the best indie games of 2023.
Dredge, developed by Black Salt Games and published by Team 17, a thrilling and addictive fishing game with a cosmic horror twist. Sell your catch, upgrade your boat, and dredge the depths for long-buried secrets. Explore the mysterious seas and discover why some things are best left forgotten. Sea of Stars, developed and published by Sabotage Studios, is a turn-based RPG inspired by the classics. It tells the story of 2 children of the solstice, gifted with the powers of the sun and moon, that embark on an epic journey to stop an evil alchemist and to save the world. Cassette Beast, developed by Bitten Studios and published by Raw Fury. Collect and transform into awesome monsters in this turn-based open-world RPG. Combine monster forms together to unleash ultimate power, to escape a mysterious island and find your way home.
Woo! Man, those nominees are darn tootin' rootin' fantastic! But you know what they say, just like the Highlander,
there can be only one.
Now how about that envelope? What do you mean there's no envelope?
5 seconds to get me that envelope or I swear I'm gonna—
I totally forgot I put the envelope right in my pocket, right here. Ow, my boobie. So without further ado, the winner is... This isn't an envelope. Whoa, that Whopper teal is amazing.
Jay!
We have to totally get Whoppers after the show. The winner is... I don't want to say. Do I have to? Cassette I totally thought it was going to be Sea of Stars.
We won? We won? We totally won! Hey, Sea of Stars!
Am I the only one surprised that it's not Sea of Stars? I knew this was rigged. Woo! I just want to thank my mom and my dad who let me bank this game in our basement, eating Doritos and Cheetos and living on Mountain Dew. It's such an honor. I want to thank Cold Nights for giving this awesome creepy ass award that I'm gonna throw in a box somewhere and totally not display because it's creepy. Got a chip in it. I'm so excited. I could literally turn into a cassette beast right now. Let's do it! It's so beautiful. And there he goes into the great star ocean in the sky. A word shows always make me so emotional. And that's it for me. Make sure you text Stay Creepy to Domino's for free Domino's tots after the show. Until next time, happy gaming and collecting. On to the next award. Toodaloo!
Hey, this is Zoo with Flipping the Switch, and just wanted to thank Jay from Cold Nights Gaming for bringing me on to announce the nominees for Best Platformer. Wait, Best Platformer? Y'all are aware that a new mainline 2D Mario came out this year, right? So, you still want me to do this? Really? Oh, okay. Well, here are the nominees for Best Platformer, starting with Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. So we're talking about a game that came out, a classic game on the Nintendo Wii, enhanced in HD for the Nintendo Switch. Even has an epilogue where it features Maglore that almost plays kind of like a Metroidvania where you gain powers and you do it at your own pace. Really nice, incredible platformer, nice, good time, and honestly has kind of a beat-em-up feel. I've always kind of called Kirby Nintendo's beat-em-up genre, like a cutesy version of a beat-em-up. And Kirby's Return to Dreamland does not disappoint here. So, first nominee is going to be for Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. On to the second nominee. Second nominee is going to be for a little bit known game known as Sonic Origins Plus. Now, Sonic Origins Plus is another game that, yet again, is a enhanced group of platformers, allowing you to play these games on the Nintendo Switch. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles, and even has Sonic CD thrown in. Now, if you're not like me, you also get access to all of the different Game Gear games as well, but those games don't exist to me since they actually didn't ship on the disc. So when I played this one, I only played the games that were shipped on the disc, and that was the first 4. Honestly, really good games. If you've never played Sonic the Hedgehog, definitely probably one of the better ways to have this in a collection. There are the issues with the sound design. For example, there's a couple of the original soundtracks due to copyright laws and expired copyrights that didn't quite make it onto this game because Michael Jackson had some development in those songs on Sonic 3. But other than that, like, still a fantastic way to experience these platformers anew. Can't help but just love my time with it as an old school Sonic fan. A great package. And finally, the last nominee that we're going to have today is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. This is the first mainline Mario game since New Super Mario Bros. U in the 2D Mario formula. And some like me would consider this to be the first authentic 2D Mario game since Super Mario Worlds, if you're not counting the New Super Mario Bros. Games. Or like me, if you respect the New Super Mario Bros. Games, but also consider New Super Mario Bros. To kind of be its own thing. So those are the 3 nominees. Shouldn't have to explain Wonder. I guess I'll go into it a little bit. You're talking about an absolutely fantastic time. A little on the easy side, but I got to tell you, when I was playing with my nephew, that actually added to it. I got to watch him experience the magic of experiencing a good 2D Mario game. I can't even tell you how much that meant to me. So that was a good fun. The world design of the Flower Kingdom, adore the Flower Kingdom. I think the Flower Kingdom is a fantastic setting that you don't typically see. Kind of gave us unique spins on some of the biomes that are typical of Mario. The wonder effects are very fun and unique, and are always keeping you on your toes. A lot of great things to say about this game. So those were our 3 nominees in terms of that. And the winner for Best Platformer Game is going to go to, drum roll please, Super Mario Wonder. What a shocker. So Super Mario Wonder takes it. It is the best platformer of 2023. Hey, even though Kirby's Return to Dreamland had a lot of great things in terms of being that nice beat-em-up experience on the Nintendo Switch with a great platforming flair, even though you had games like Sonic Origins Collection, which gives you 4 fantastic Sonic games in a pretty acceptable package, nothing can compare to having a mainline 2D Mario game. This thing was destined to win from the start. So don't know what everybody expected, but that's absolutely what happened in this particular case. I do have my issues with the game in terms of its easiness and some other things which I'll get into in a future review. But in general, Super Mario Wonder, I'd be lying if I didn't say it was the best platformer of 2023. Once again, I'd like to just thank Jay from Cold Knights Gaming for having me on to present this award. Platformers have always been one of my favorite genres and have always meant a lot to me. And thanks again, buddy. Take care. Can't wait to see what the rest of the winners are.
What's up, gamers? This is NGG here. I want to thank Jay for having me on to talk about the multiplayer game of the year. I am going to focus on multi-game of the year for the Nintendo Switch, since that is my console of choice. And the first nominee we are going to talk about is River City Girls 2. Now, this one actually can be found across multiple consoles. I played it exclusively on the Switch. This can be played up to 2 players online. I think they even updated it to have 4 players online. Don't quote me about that one, but for sure local co-op is 4 players. And that's what I'm going to be talking about, just the multiplayer aspect, guys. It is a beat 'em up, so you are going around River City trying to take back River City from the Yakuza, and you can be up to 6 different characters. You can be the girls and their boyfriends, or you can be 2 extra girls that they've added, Pave and another one, I forget her name, that they added, and you can play up. This is definitely a classic beat 'em up in a classic beat 'em up style. You are definitely fighting and beating up everybody. This has a really enriching story, and depending on your cast of characters you pick, is what they say. So every character has a line, and sometimes together they have like something that, like, if they're together they'll say. So it's best to play this with more than one person so you can get a whole complete story and see how these characters interact with each other in the River City Girls franchise. Again, this is a beat 'em up. The next game I have for you is a slightly different genre, a way different genre, and that is Fae Farm. This is a farming sim genre, and this is multiplayer as well. You can have up to 4 people on your island at a time, and this is cross-platform on PC to Switch. I don't know if it's coming out on any other platform. As of right now, you can cross-play between PC and Switch, and that is how I've played it, cross-platform. And I would highly suggest, if you are playing Fae Farm, you play it as a multiplayer. There is so much to do with so little time. If you do not split the allocations of what you guys are doing, it's gonna be so hard to beat and play this game without having a second, third, or even 4th player with you. It's so hard to get everything you want to get done in a day. Day periods run every 15 minutes is a new day, so you're not forced to play more than a day if you don't want. I would highly suggest playing this daily. It's so fun, so much fun as a farming sim genre, and I hate farming sims. So for me to put this as a nominee for a genre that I hate tells you a lot about how great I think this game is. The next and final nominee for the genre of multiplayer of the year is Super Mario Wonders. Now, I have played this as a multiplayer online, and multiplayer online, I believe Don't quote me on how many, but I believe it's up to 8 to 12, somewhere around 8 to 12 online. And the reason that you can have so many people is because they're not actually in your world. You can see them as background, like invisible characters, where they're not actually in your world or touching anything in your world. They can help you and give you some of their power-ups, or point you in the right direction, or even save your life if you're dying, but that's about as much as they can do in your world. This also has local co-op features, which unfortunately I have yet to try out yet. I am planning on playing this in the holiday season with my family, so I'm looking forward to the local co-op play. But local co-op play plays more like Super Mario Deluxe, where it's definitely everybody can help each other and everybody's engaged in the same world, unlike the online aspect of Super Mario Wonder. So those are our nominees for multiplayer game of the year, and the winner is Fae Farm. Fae Farm has an amazing story, amazing gameplay with friends. Do not play this game if you're not playing it with friends. I've heard so many people who bought this game expecting it to be so good, but I think this game was definitely meant to be played with friends. If you do not play with friends, you will not have the experience of the joy that I had with this game, with playing with a group of friends and helping each other out, resource gathering, dungeon world crawling, and farming. Thanks, Jay, for having me on. Happy gaming! Bye!
Hey guys, Nishquick here, your resident fellow Xenoblade Chronicles fan, and I'm here to announce the nominees and the winner for Cold Knights Gaming's Game of the Year for Best DLC 2023. Best DLC. We had a lot of DLCs come out this year, but I have 3 nominations for you guys today, plus a couple honorable mentions I want to talk about. So, without further ado, let's talk about these amazing DLCs. So I found it very interesting that there was a lot of DLCs that came out this year, but these 3 truly take the cake. So the first nomination is none other than Mario Kart 8's Booster Course Pack, which has been going on since last year. Get this, Mario Kart 8 came out in 2014. Do you feel old yet? Mario Kart 8 came out in 2014. The DLC for Mario Kart 8's base game was, I don't know, 2015, 2016, around then. But then the game re-released on the Switch in 2017, and then it became the Switch's highest selling game of all time. Like, wow, it's selling like gangbusters. But then, out of nowhere, when we wanted Mario Kart 9, no, Nintendo says no, we're getting more DLC to a Wii U game that came back out in 2014. So Nintendo really knows what they're doing with their highest selling Nintendo Switch game of all time. So yeah, the Booster Course Pass has gone from early last year, and it's recently come to a close, and it has some of the most beautiful tracks ever, some of the most well-designed Mario Kart tracks ever, new tracks, old returning tracks, revamped tracks from Mario Kart Tour, also new characters, new battle modes, new item modes. It's a true treat for Mario Kart fans, and it's kept us playing the game for so long. So, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is your first nomination for Best DLC of 2023. Number 2 is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. I wonder what there is to say about this. Just your average Xenoblade Chronicles DLC. Oh, I can't pass off a chance about talking about Xenoblade, so I'm gonna nerd out a little bit over here. So, Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed is a full-length 20 to 30 hour experience, and it feels like its own standalone video game. It ties up the stories of the base game of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as well as the entire Klaus saga of Xenoblade Chronicles, which started all the way back 13 years ago in 2010 on the Wii with the original Xenoblade Chronicles. And yeah, what is there to say about it? So many quality of life improvements, so many polishes of the gameplay, so many amazing story moments, so many amazing characters. It is one of the best products Monolith Soft has ever put out, and I loved it. It's a personal game of the year of mine. So yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed is your second nomination for Best DLC of this year. Alright, this third nomination is just a personal one that I thought of, because there are so many DLCs coming out this year, and I remembered this one specifically. I want to nominate Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn, because 2 years after the game came out, who would have thought that we would get DLC for the Best RPG winner at the Game Awards of 2021, Tales of Arise, Bandai Namco's premier JRPG franchise. The Tales of series has been really on track with some awesome releases, except for Tales of Symphonia Remastered. We don't talk about that one. But Tales of Arise was an amazing game, and I still haven't played the DLC, but it looks to be an awesome experience tying up the story of the base game of Tales of Arise and just getting to see those characters once again. So Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn is your number 3 nomination for Best DLC of 2023. And here are 2 honorable mentions I want to throw out there. Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways is a game that I've heard a lot of people really enjoyed when it comes to the Resident Evil franchise. And what's funny is, every time I think about Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways, I don't think about Resident Evil. I think about that one Journey song. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Anyways, Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways, and I think this game came out a couple years back called what was it? It's on the tip of my tongue. Cyberpunk 2077. I think that got some DLC. I don't really know how that went, but yeah, that DLC happened. Anyways, that rounds it up for the nominations and the honorable mentions. And I am here to announce the winner of Cold Knights Gaming's Best 2023 DLC. That is, voted by everyone on the Discord, and a little bit of personal bias here as well, it is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. I am very happy that Xenoblade 3 won, and it's a fantastic DLC. Like I said, it feels like its own dedicated Xenoblade game, and it takes everything that works in all the other prior Xenoblade games, puts it into Future Redeemed in a nice package, nice gameplay experience, and ties up the stories very well of the original Klaus Saga, which started from the original Xenoblade Chronicles, and it ties up the story of the base game of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as well. It's a true treat for us Monolith Soft fans, and it makes me really excited to see what that company is going to do next, what Mr. Takahashi is cooking with, especially that very last scene in Future Redeemed. But yeah, if you guys haven't played Xenoblade 3 or Future Redeemed, go give it a shot. A lot of us in the Cold Knights Gaming Discord server really loved that game, and we really enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on this episode of the best games of 2023. It's been a great year for gaming, DLCs, and RPGs. I'll see you guys in the next one later.
Hello everybody, Scorpio Caesar here from the Caesar Arcade. I want to thank Jay from Cold Knights Gaming for allowing me to be a part of this 2023 Video Game Awards show. I'll be honest with you, I didn't buy a lot of new games for the Nintendo Switch in 2023. I probably got a small handful of them, and I haven't played enough of them to really give my honest opinion on them. However, despite me slacking, Jay allowed me to be a part of this collaboration. So I'm going to give you my 3 nominations from 2023 on the Nintendo Switch Online service. And we got 3 games we're going to talk about. So today we're starting with Pokemon the Trading Card Game. Now this is a game that I feel flew under a lot of people's radar back in the day. Me personally, I got it back when it came out and I adore this game. Sure, it's a bit on the short side, but if you ever wanted to play the Pokemon trading card game in any official capacity, this game is a great way to just start learning and getting your foot in the door. It's such a fantastic title on the Game Boy Color that I think a lot of people should probably play, especially if you're a Pokemon fan. Next up, we have, for the Game Boy Advance, Metroid Fusion. Now, Metroid Fusion honestly doesn't need an introduction at this point, but to be the successor to Super Metroid means that you have some pretty big shoes to fill. Granted, personally for me, I still feel that Metroid Fusion is my favorite in the series and absolutely blew the doors off Super Metroid. It's got a lot of creepy factors to it, which, if we're talking about creepy, we're all about staying creepy, right? Metroid Fusion is a phenomenal game and definitely should be checked out by those of you who are fans of Metroidvanias, because let's face it, without Metroid, you ain't gonna have your favorite genre of all time, right? And then the third nominee for me is on the Nintendo 64 app, and that is Jet Force Gemini. Now, this is a game that also flew under a lot of people's radar back in the days, and I don't feel a lot of people talk about it enough. It's a pretty challenging, yet fun and beautiful looking third-person shooter, which has that trademark Rare charm. Look at the chunky graphics, it's beautiful. I love how all the colors just are so vibrant and mesh together so well in the environments. Personally, I just love that aesthetic. And I feel a lot of people missed out on Jet Force Gemini. So if you're a fan of shooting up some bugs and saving some koala bear looking guys, then this is the game for you. And I highly suggest you all check this one out as well. Now personally, if I have to choose my number one pick for the game of the year for 2023 for the Nintendo Switch online service, no brainer, it has to go to Metroid Fusion. But Metroid Fusion is a game that absolutely must be played, and it's a masterclass in its genre. And I definitely suggest that any of you who haven't played it before and want to play an atmospheric and sometimes sinister and creepy 2D masterpiece, then you absolutely have to play Metroid Fusion. And that is my winner for Game of the Year, even though it came out over a decade ago. Where does time go? Anyways, thank you again to Jay from Cold Nights Gaming for allowing me to be a part of this epic collab, and I want to know what your games of the year are in 2023. Thank you all for hearing my piece, and stay creepy.
Hello, John aka Chicken Fillets here, and welcome to the first annual Cold Nights Gaming Awards 2023. Now it's been entrusted to my little self to give out this next award, which is the most anticipated game for 2024. And let's be quite honest, 2024 is looking stellar for gaming in general. Now, I put out the question to the Cold Night gaming community about what was their most anticipated game for 2024, and I'm happy to say that we do have a definitive winner for this. Now let's have a look at all the nominations for most anticipated game of 2024. So as you've seen there, those were your nominees for most anticipated game of 2024. But there can only be one winner, and I'm happy to reveal the winner of the Cold Nights Gaming Most Anticipated Award for 2023. And it is... rubbish drum roll. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the most anticipated game from the Cold Night Gaming community. I personally cannot wait to get my hands on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, as the Final Fantasy VII series is my all-time favourite JRPG, and what we experience with the Final Fantasy VII Remake and what these new story beats are ahead of us, I just can't wait to delve my teeth into this game. Thank you to everyone who voted for this category, and thank you for having me on this award show, Jay. Anyway, speaking of Jay, back to you.
The time has come. It is time for your Cold Knights Gaming Switch Game of the Year. 2023 has been a banner year for the Nintendo Switch. The amount of releases that came out that were just mind-blowing was off the charts. There were so many choices that we had to put this up to a vote in the Cold Knights Discord. Here are your nominees. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom had impossibly big shoes to fill as the sequel to what many consider one of the greatest games of all time. The world had been in awe since the first trailer dropped, showing Link soaring down from such great heights. Could they possibly outshine the powers and mechanics from the first game? How is this building and weapon modifying system going to work? In every Discord, 24/7 on Twitter, and all across Reddit, gamers were abuzz. When it dropped, people seemed to disappear off the face of the earth as they voraciously consumed the game. People avoided social media en masse to avoid spoilers so they could take it all in at their own pace. Could it really be worth all this? Absolutely. The Sky Islands and the depths added massively to the map we were all familiar with from Breath of the Wild. The new powers were something incredible. Building crafts and vehicles of all sorts was almost a game in itself. Making new, innovative, and stronger weapons was a constant, enjoyable task. The shrines were back, but we also now had fun and challenging temples to play. And the story, while not as tragic or grandiose as that of Breath of the Wild, fed us the fresh and interesting lore we had been craving. When the game came to a magnificent crescendoing climax, we were stunned. I honestly remember asking myself, after playing Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom back to back, what can possibly keep me entertained now? For these and many more reasons, Tears of the Kingdom is our first nominee for the Nintendo Switch Game of the Year. Octopath Traveler 2. My, it seems it certainly has been a year of tremendous sequels. The first Octopath game was an innovative take on the branching path ensemble cast RPG. The art style and beautiful 2D, 3D aesthetic was refreshing and impressive. The combat was fun and engaging. It felt like an accomplishment to progress the characters' stories forward. Though the game did admittedly not do enough to properly link the characters' stories, making it feel a bit disjointed. But overall, the game was well received. Octopath Traveler 2 set out to build upon the strengths of the first game and correct some of the missteps. This time around, the story was quite a bit more engaging, and though not perfect, there was more continuity with the characters' stories. The graphical presentation was still spot on. Adding in a day-night cycle that could be manually changed added variety to the gameplay. The new cast of characters was incredible. Though I loved Alphen and Ophelia in the first, Casti and Hikari immediately stole my heart with their incredible and emotional stories. I can still remember people excitedly sharing the order in which they played the characters and waiting for their friends to finish their favorite stories so they could discuss them. In a packed crowd, Octopath Traveler 2 shines bright, and that is why it is a nominee for the Nintendo Switch Game of the Year. Fire Emblem Engage. Fire Emblem Engage had the unenviable task of following up on the pandemic-strengthened behemoth that was Three Houses. Right from the start, it promised to return to the roots of Fire Emblem with its unique emblem ring system. Gamers were ecstatic to see some of their favorite faces from games past returning. There is honestly not a lot more that I haven't already said in the 2 or 3 videos I've made on the topic that I can add. The cast of characters was massive and diverse. The combat was just as sweet as it's always been, with the new addition of the emblem rings enhancing it even further. Folks cried foul at the lack of romance options, lesser interactions, and more simplistic story, but many found them still to be engaging and emotional. The DLC added a few great story beats and numerous new rings to obtain. I was hooked on the game, and played it even more feverishly than I did Tears of the Kingdom. When the game was over and I'd finished the DLC, I went back to Three Houses and had a marvelous playthrough. Then I played Three Hopes and Fire Emblem Warriors. I revisited Sacred Stones and the first game as well. Fire Emblem Engage did exactly as it was intended to do. It reinvigorated me for the series. It made me love it again. And for this, it is nominated for the Nintendo Switch Game of the Year. Well, the Cold Night Discord has spoken. And your Game of the Year for the Nintendo Switch in 2023 is Tears of the Kingdom. Let me tell you, together with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom as its sequel, it makes one big, beautiful story that cannot be topped. In a great year of games, it stands alone as Game of the Year. I want to thank all of you for tuning in, but most of all, I want to thank my community. You guys have been there for me through thick and thin. You guys have been huge supporters, and we've had a great year together. I look forward to another year of playing games, making content, and enjoying my friendships with all of you. Until next time, stay creepy.